Onimusha is a series that holds a special place for me when it comes to Capcom's franchises and some of the first games I've covered when I was starting out reviewing games for the channel. Following Onimusha Warlord's example when it got an HD remaster back in 2018-2019, we now have the HD remaster of Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny, which was originally released in 2002 for the PlayStation 2. Like the remaster of the first game, Onimusha 2 benefits from having upscaled backgrounds as well as modernised controls if the original tank controls aren't for you. This review, while covering the HD remaster, is also a re-evaluation of my original review of the game and officially covering it as part of the Infinite Backlog series. In this game, set between the year 1570 and 1573, you play as Jubei Yagyu, based off Yagyu Taro no Munetoshi, and modelled after the late actor Yusaku Matsuda, as he rushes back home to Yagyu village to find that Nobunaga Oda's forces have attacked and wiped out the village due to the Yagyu clan being a threat to his power. After Samanosuke Akechi, the hero from Onimusha Warlords, slew Fortinbras, the god of the Genma, Nobunaga had taken over and is using the Genma in his ambition to conquer and unite Japan. After arriving back at the village to find just about everyone dead, Jubei is called by a mysterious voice, and by following it, he meets Takajo. While seemingly demonic in appearance, Takajo is in fact a descendant of the Oni clan who had been wiped out by the Genma, as well as Jubei's mother. She gives Jubei the ability to absorb the souls of the Genma using his hand as opposed to an Oni gauntlet, and Jubei's adventure begins. Along the way, he'll meet valuable allies who will help him in his journey to destroy the Genma, as well as Nobunaga. But is this game any good? Find out in The Good. The core gameplay has always stood out to me of the Onimusha series. As Jubei progresses in his adventure, he'll gain access to several weapons, each with their own elemental abilities and gameplay styles. Some of Jubei's weapons are very similar to Samanosuke's weapons in the regard that both characters have a sword with the power of lightning, a blade with the power of wind, and a sword with the power of fire, with Jubei's being his ultimate weapon. Jubei also gains access to two other weapons with their own elemental abilities. The Hyojin Yari, which is a spear with the power of ice, and the Dokotsui, which is a hammer with the power of earth. Both of these weapons have their own playstyles too, and I quite like the variety. For example, the Ice Spear is good at keeping enemies at bay while dealing fair damage, while the Earth Hammer can break the guard of certain enemies and deal heavy damage at the cost of speed. These weapons also have weapon arts or special moves that Jubei can learn, as well as charge moves, giving you more versatility as you fight the Genma. Another feature that was added or well enhanced from Genma Onimusha, an updated and enhanced version of Onimusha Warlords for the original Xbox, was the ability to absorb special souls. While in Genma Onimusha, absorbing 5 of them would make you temporarily invincible and recover health, with enemies being more powerful if they absorbed the souls, Onimusha 2 would allow you to transform into the Onimusha, in which you would deal more damage, be invincible, and have access to a unique magic attack for a short period of time. While present in the first game, Jubei, and by extension his friends, can also perform Isen attacks where he can instantly kill regular enemies or deal heavy damage to bosses if he times his attacks right. Attacking just as an enemy is about to hit you, or the second you block an attack, will give you the opportunity to perform one, and this game introduces the ability to chain Isen attacks to kill multiple enemies as well as look really cool. I do like the core mechanics of the series, and 2 is where a lot of the familiar mechanics of the series start to shine. Another gameplay mechanic I liked was the ability to deepen friendships with Jubei's allies. Jubei is joined by Ike Ankokuji, a monk who likes money, alcohol and women while also being highly skilled in the Hoizon Ryu spear arts, Magawichi Saiga, a cold and seemingly aloof gunman and the leader of the Kishu Saiga gun team, Kotaro Fuma, an inquisitive young ninja who's also the chief of the Fuma ninjas, and Oyu, a mysterious woman also wanting to kill Nobunaga. The early part of the game revolves around the mining town of Imasho, which acts as a hub area. Just outside the town on the path to the mines as well as in the mines, Jubei can pick up gold from defeated enemies. He can also find gifts in chests, on the ground, or by spending the gold he collects in a store in Imasho. With these gifts he can increase his friendships with Ike, Magawichi, Kotaro and Oyu, with them rewarding Jubei with items or other gifts. Some gifts can be chained as such by increasing friendship more if a certain gift was given to that character beforehand. The gifting mechanic isn't elaborated on too much, so there'll be a lot of trial and error to work out who likes what the most, and to even uncover an item combo, and this ties into the game's replay value. Some of the gifts you give characters may also upgrade their weapons or armor too. While all characters can be found in Imasho, sometimes they'll appear to help Jubei randomly and sometimes even stick around for you to give gifts to. This plays a big part in the game's story, as certain events in the game will play out depending on which characters you're friendliest with, which adds to the replay value if you want to see them all. Jubei will come across situations where he'll need help or is trapped, and this is when his allies will come into play, both figuratively and literally, as you'll be controlling them for short sections of the game. These characters have their own attacks and special abilities, and for the brief time you're playing as them, you'll also get an item that they can use to absorb souls, which you can then get added to Jubei's total when you take control of him again. Depending on your friendship with your allies also determines how the scenes leading up to the final battle plays out, and when you complete the game you'll also see a flowchart of what paths you took throughout it. The game also has a few extra games, such as The Man in Black, where Jubei is required to pick up 20 pieces of film within a time limit around his home, and The Valley of Fog while equipped with only a sponge sword which deals no damage, and a special costume based off Yusaku Matsuda's character in Detective Story 1983. For each film Jubei picks up, he will unlock a cutscene from the game featuring Jubei wearing the Man in Black outfit and with the sponge sword. There's also TMNT, where you play as characters from the game with a set loadout throughout areas of the game, with your health slowly decreasing when not in a safe room. This minigame was also originally determined by which characters you befriended throughout the game. Lastly, there's the Puzzle Phantom round, where you unlock artwork by completing puzzle boxes of increasing difficulty. I really did enjoy the gameplay and the content of the game, whether it's the battle mechanics or even the friendship mechanics, which I ultimately found to be much deeper than I originally thought it was. The game did have some quality of life updates. The obvious one is the ability to use analog controls to move your character, but there have been some other ones too, such as the game running at 60 frames per second, auto-saving, Japanese voices now being available, and being able to switch between your swords and ranged weapons without having to go into the menu, better upscaling on backgrounds and character models so that they fit more naturally together, and my personal favourite, being able to transform into the Onimusha when you want to. Originally, if Jubei absorbed 5 large purple souls, he would transform automatically. Now I can actually save them to use when I really need to, which is an absolute godsend. The minigames and bonus content are unlocked from the beginning, with Jubei getting a unique costume of him wearing Samanosuke's armour if you have a save of the Remaster of Onimusha Warlords, and a hell difficulty where you can be killed in one hit. I will address the elephant in the room, as there has been some censored content, mainly regarding Oyu, but I feel that this does not negatively impact gameplay. In personal opinion, there should be a choice to have the altered or original content, so both sides of the fence would ideally be happier. With that, we've looked at what I liked about the game, so let's look at what I didn't like with the bad. Of course, as this is a remaster with strictly no additional content in the way of the original story and presentation, the game also suffers from the faults of the original, such as seemingly abandoning the more role-playing aspects around the midpoint of the game. After you meet Jujudoma, one of the bosses of the game, and you return to Yagi Village, you find that you can no longer go back to Imasho and that you're effectively locked into the final half of the game. Raising your friendship levels with the other characters is significantly more difficult, as the story will unfold based on your gift giving and friendship levels prior to meeting Jujudoma, and you would need to hope that the character that you want to raise friendship with will appear at some point to help you, and stick around so that you can give them gifts. I think Imasho works really well as a hub world, and given the game's pacing in the second half, it's a shame not to be able to go back and use that opportunity to influence the late sections of the game. I would even be happy if the leftover gold you have from Imasho could be used to purchase supplies, as gold effectively becomes useless once you're locked into the second half of the game. Now, regarding the remaster itself, while analog controls are nice and all, because the game wasn't made with them in mind, you can find that you'll sometimes be fighting the camera and a lot of your moves is just the forward attack move. As the game uses fixed backgrounds, when you move to a different screen you may briefly have to fight your analog controls as they reorientate to where Jubei has appeared. Weapon arts require you to hold the ready weapon button, then press backwards, then forwards and then attack. But backwards and forwards can be up and then down, down then up, left then right, or right then left, whereas with the old tank controls it's just D-pad down and up, so despite me complaining about tank controls back then, I can see the merit to them, and despite the game being made with those controls, Capcom have done well with what they had to work with, so I would consider this reasonably minor. I don't have much else to complain about here, so let's wrap things up with the opinion. The Onimusha 2 Remaster is a great way to experience the original 2002 classic with modern quality of life updates. The gameplay mechanics remain the same, the story remains the same, and the bonuses are accessible from the get-go, which is appreciated. However, the game does share the same faults as the original, and the big standout one for me nowadays was the sudden shift halfway through the game, locking you out of being able to freely give gifts to your allies in town, and hoping that you've befriended them enough so that you can get the scenes you want to see, or at least have the characters appear so that you can influence them. The analog controls, while welcome, weren't really made for fixed camera angles, but fighting the camera when you move screens is a brief second issue which you can readjust to quickly. I liked the game's setting and story when I originally reviewed the PS2 game, and that hasn't changed, and I still enjoyed the time I spent with the game. If you enjoyed playing Onimusha Warlords, then this is definitely worth looking into, and for those feeling nostalgic, you can replay the game while waiting for Onimusha Way of the Sword. Here's hoping that they give the HD remaster treatment to Onimusha 3, my personal favourite of the series, and Dawn of Dreams. It'll be great to see those with quality of life updates too. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give the HD remaster of Onimusha 2 Summarized Destiny the Rekka Ken out of 10. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to like, comment and subscribe for more. You can check out our other videos or follow us on X, Instagram and Facebook. Once again, thank you for watching.